Well, my first question for you, Milos, is it true that you cold called a hiring manager to land an interview?
That is true. Yes.
How did that happen?
So I mean, I took your advice. Basically, I listened to everything that you told us in the course, and I just thought to myself, I'll give it a go. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? So yeah, I actually that was the second company that I applied to. No, that was the first one. On the second one, I actually got the job. So yeah, the first company I was looking through companies and trying to figure basically I didn't just want to apply randomly, so I wanted to use my previous experiences to my advantage. So I studied journalism back in Serbia. I'm from Serbia, and I saw this company, and they were looking for something. It was like software for something related to the government, and I saw that I don't know. It was like political thing, so I kind of saw maybe an opportunity to connect my previous knowledge and everything. And I just found I think I found him on LinkedIn, I think, the hiring manager. And I just got his, like, found his number, called him. We had a conversation, and he was actually very glad that I approached him that way. So even though I didn't have any experience or anything like that, he was like, okay, let's see what we can do. And I already like applied on LinkedIn before, so he told me he was gonna pull the application and like have the hiring team put it on the side because they would probably overlook it just based on experience. Because I saw there was a bunch of applicants and everybody had like 3 years of experience at least, and I had 0 days. So that was something that this was a way in, like through a back door, let's say. But yeah, so that one, I don't know. I actually never. The interview never happened. I guess they hired somebody else, and it was they just sent me an email later, like we decided to go a different way, and then I applied to my current company, but I did basically the same approach. I was because I saw that it works. So yeah, the second company I applied to, I got the job.
What did you tell him on the phone for the second one?
So the second one that's truckstop.com. So I was also a truck driver before. So that was another thing that I felt like maybe I can leverage in just like industry knowledge, even though I don't have sales experience. So so yeah, I found a bunch of people on LinkedIn, added all of them, and just sent them a bunch of messages to see if anybody could give me a referral or just give me some advice on anything. And then I found the actual hiring manager and I sent her a message too. And she replied after like a month. And I already gave up on it, but she replied and she was like, "Okay, I'm glad you reached out. Let's have a chat."
How did you
So
get past the no experience thing?
so the conversation, she was very open to me not having experience. She was like, "Okay, I see you don't have experience. That's fine. Like I can teach you all the sales stuff, like all the things that you need to say in the calls. I can teach you the software and how it works. I can teach you Salesforce. That's all. We can do that quickly. But I gotta see if you're the right person, like what your personality is like, if you're the guy for the job." And in the call, like I guess I was confident. That was the main thing that I think decided the outcome. I told her that like I'm a hardworking guy. I'm gonna be one of the best that they have in a year, and she was like, "Okay, I like that." So so yeah, basically, I mean, it was pretty straightforward. I was just confident about what I want and what I think that they want and what they will get from me. And she liked what she heard, so she was like, "Okay, let's try it out." And it's been 3 months now. So yeah, so far so good.
Why did you want to get a job in tech sales?
So I'm guessing that's the same reason like all of your um, applicants are probably the same thing. So basically, I was at a place that I felt like I didn't want to be at anymore. So I was a truck driver back then, and I was never home. I was always on the road. Um, I actually took a little pay cut switching careers, but that's normal when you start. But I was, I don't know, I was on the road and I was thinking like this is not the life that I want to have in 5 years. So let's change something. And I was actually Googling what's the best career with remote options. And it gave me a bunch of results, and tech sales was like one of them. And honestly, I didn't even know anything about it. So I looked into it a little bit, what it is, and I liked it. And I saw like the ceiling was so high, like huge growth opportunities. And that's what I liked. I was like, okay, let's see what this is. The more I looked into it, the more I liked it. And then I saw you guys, and I was like, okay, let's see what they got.
So it sounded like you were just sick and tired of the situation you were in previously. You mentioned being on the road all the time. Was there a particular moment where you decided, okay, I need to start taking action to change my course here, or had it just been building and you said, okay, enough's enough, let's change course? Because it's really hard to go from truck driver, making good money, doing your thing, to now facing the idea of learning a whole new skill set and completely transitioning, going back to square one. And I think a lot of people are at that place, but are not quite at a place of just disliking their situation enough to take action. So tell me more about your experience with that.
Yeah, so I was actually at in that same situation. I disliked my previous situation, but not enough to actually do something about it. And especially with the money, like truck drivers make really good money, and anything new that I would start would mean like going 50% less. And I didn't want to do that, so I just kept going and going and going. But at some point, you're missing all your friends' birthdays. You're missing every time something happens, you are somewhere else. Or even if you can make it just like by driving there and then spending half a day with them, and then you got to go again. So it's not even like you can't enjoy anything. You're always thinking about the next move and where you're gonna go. It's just not the life that I wanted to lead. And then yeah, so a year ago, I got into a serious relationship also. So that was another thing that I wanted to, have my life situated in a way where that can work, not to not to be on the road the whole time. So I wanted to. That's how I decided to make the change. And honestly, I've been making moves like that all my life. I mean, I moved from Serbia to the States by myself, so it's I'm not a stranger to making a big life change. So, but yeah, I know a lot of people are afraid to do something like that. But honestly, it's my advice to people is always the same. Like, just do it. Worst case scenario, you're gonna go back to the old way. You're just gonna lose a month or two, or it depends like how long it's gonna take. But give it a shot. So, like, right now, if this doesn't work out, I can always jump back in the truck and drive it. Like that's always waiting for me. I know how to do that. So, but let's try to do something better. So that was basically my thinking on the whole thing.
And you ended up joining Course Careers, our tech sales program. Talk about that experience, how you decided to actually buy the course, and then going through the course.
So with the course, I decided basically same night. I think I finished driving, I parked, and I started looking at things what I can do. And Course Careers showed up on Google. I opened it and looked at the courses. I saw tech sales. I went into that. I saw the intro, the free one. Like I think there's like 3 lessons or something. I don't even remember now. It was those free ones. So I looked them up and I was like, okay, I like this. I liked how you were explaining things. It looked to me like I could understand what you're saying. Like it's not gonna be hard to follow or boring or something. So I was like, okay, this looks good, and I wanted to see more. And I was like, okay, I mean, again, let's give it a shot. Worst case scenario, I'm out a couple $100, like however much it was, I don't remember. But worst case scenario, I spend some money. Okay, it's not gonna be the first time I do that, but let's try something. So yeah, I got in, and I think yeah, I was on the road, so I I didn't have any distractions or anything like that. I was just by myself, so I was studying basically every day, all day. So I think it took me about like a week and a half to finish the whole thing. And yeah, I passed the final exam. That was a funny thing when I know before the final exam there's some like prep classes or something like that with one of your with one of the teachers. I think Dre. I think that was his name. Yeah, so he was telling us like how to prep for the final exam and all that stuff, and like what to do in interviews. And a bunch of people over there were like, "Yeah, but I'm just like 6 months in. I'm not sure if I'm ready to take the final exam." And I was like, I'm a week in. Like, should I even be here? I didn't know if maybe I kind of had the too high expectations of myself and something, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'll give it a try. Because there was also two options. Like if you fail the first, you can do it another one. Yeah, like you can redo it. And then yeah, like I said to myself, let's try it. And I did, and I think I got like 96% or something. So I passed it, and then we were on to the next phase, and that was actually looking for the job.
What were some of your top lessons from going through the course?
So I think what I most got out of was probably the cold calling thing, like the lessons from that, because also like I followed a bunch of these sales gurus or something on LinkedIn, and everybody's kind of saying the same thing like you did. But I mean, why everybody's unified in that opinion is because that's the way to do it. And I've noticed since I started working that whenever I implement some of the things that you say in the in the videos, it goes well. Like, going straight to the point, not wasting the customer's time. For example, that's something that I noticed that a lot of the salespeople do that you mentioned that we maybe should not do, like asking the person how they are and having that silence in between, the uncomfortable silence that can, end the call, unfortunately. But so yeah, kind of skip over that and assume they're doing okay, and just go straight to the point of why I'm calling and what's my reason to to reach out. So yeah, the cold calling thing I think was the most the most that I got out of. That was probably the best lesson, I would say.
Were you listening to the course while driving a truck, or would you stop and watch it? How did you consume it?
Both actually, yeah, both. So I was doing a lot of listening, but then when I see that something actually needs to be looked at, I would skip that, and I would go to another one that I can just listen to, and then when I stop, I would rewatch the one that I needed to pay more attention to, like for the CRM or something that we actually needed to see what's going on.
Yeah, taking a week, that's the fastest I've ever heard someone. Actually, I think someone did it in 3 days, but
Wow.
a week or less is, to your point, you were you allowed yourself not to be distracted, where most
Yeah.
people allow themselves to be distracted, and then that prolongs it for a month, and then the whole application process that takes a lot of time. So once you finish the course, and it sounded like you were receiving coaching from Dre, who's one of the best coaches in CourseCareers, he's great. How did you think about applying to companies? You mentioned you did not mass apply. You were very selective with finding one or two companies that your previous experience aligned with. Like, you drove truck, you were driving trucks. So why not apply to some sort of logistics, trucking, technology company? That makes a lot of sense. Just talk about that process, finding the companies.
So for that, I kind of like I used ChatGPT for that. So I went onto ChatGPT. So first I was bartending for like, I don't know, 7 years. Then I was trucking for like 4 years, and I studied journalism before all that. So I was trying to see what I can leverage from that. So I typed into ChatGPT to give me like the best, a list of like 10 or 20 companies that sell some kind of software to hospitality businesses or something in the transportation industry. So they would give me these companies, and then I would just like look at them, look them up on LinkedIn, look them up on Google, try to like gain as much knowledge about them as possible and to see if I would be the right fit for them and what their software is, what they're selling, why they're who they're selling it to. So all that stuff I was trying to learn. The more I learned, the better. And yeah, so Truck Stop came out as number one company for the trucking industry, and I hit it like on the first one. I got the job, so that was I mean I was obviously lucky. That's not gonna happen to everyone, but yeah, I think that approach helped me a lot because I was very focused. I didn't just apply to any company. You know, I didn't apply to Microsoft when I have like there's so many people applying for these jobs. Why would they hire you? So you know that's what I was trying to think why they would hire me and go to the company that has a reason to hire me.
You seem like a real positive dude, real scrappy, and you make it all sound so easy. So why don't you talk about the challenges you faced once you started Course Careers to actually landing the job? Just what were some of the key challenges in between?
So to be honest, the first interview, the one that didn't go so well, that I mean didn't go so well. It went okay, but after I was done, I felt like it could have gone a lot better. And for some reason, I was like I don't know the maybe anxious when I spoke to the guy on the phone. I don't know why, because I'm never like that. I'm very relaxed. I don't get anxious. But when I was on that call, I was like, oh my god, you know, it was so important for some reason that I got a little bit scared maybe, and when I was done, I thought to myself, why was this? Why did this happen? And I don't know if that was the reason. I don't think so. I think he liked me regardless, but that was just how I felt. So for the next one, for the one that I actually landed the job with, I just said to myself, "You're not gonna do this now. You're gonna be very relaxed, like you are usually." So it went a whole lot better, and you know, obviously they liked me also. So it was good. So that's maybe one thing that just doing it like that, going into the unknown, doing something that you're not sure how to do, but just do it, and then if it doesn't go well, you'll do it again, and eventually you're gonna get better. So I mean, for me, it happened on the second try, but if it didn't, I would do it on the 50th try. So that's something that's like a challenge, I think, you know, just starting something that you don't know.
Most of the people listening to this right now are probably looking to get into tech sales or maybe are new in their career. And now that you're a few months into it, what has the experience versus expectations versus reality actually been? Like, what did you think going into it, and then now being in it? Talk about that.
So going into it, I mean, I had no idea what I was getting into. No idea. Just by, you know, maybe on LinkedIn seeing people, what they share about it and all that. I thought I didn't really have any expectations. I was just like, let's see if I like it or not. But now that I'm in it, I love it. It's like really changed my life for the better. I mean, also like obviously going from never being home to working from home, like I'm in my house in the office basically right now, and that's just I love that. And also the now I don't know if that's like a sales thing in general, but for the companies that I'm in, I love the culture. Like it's amazing. I've never done anything like that. I've always done like jobs that you gotta hustle and you don't have even, medical insurance, you don't have 401k, you don't have any of that stuff. It's just work. When you don't work, you don't get paid, and that's basically it. But this, I'm off on the weekend. I can like unlimited PTO. I have health insurance. I have all this. It's and plus the team, like the team, how how they accepted me, and how everybody's been helpful. Whenever I have a question, everybody's always offering to help. Everybody's giving me advice. Everybody's like, hey, if you need to practice cold calling, we can jump on a call. Let's do like a pretend call or something. So I don't know. It's just for me, I never saw something like this, that everybody's so open and helpful for no reason. Like they don't get anything out of it, just being nice. So that's, I don't know if that's sales in general or just the company. If I was lucky with the company, but man, this is something so much better than the jobs I used to do before.
As you think about your future in the SDR role and doing tech sales, what has you most excited about the future?
Well, honestly, I don't plan to be a SDR for very long. I'm, I'm, I didn't get into tech sales to be an SDR. I got into be an AE or maybe even like a manager or something later, but that's further down the road. But my goal is to next year at this time to be an AE. That's my goal. And I'm trying to, I'm still learning. Obviously, it's been a couple months. I don't know the ins and outs, but that's kind of where I see myself. I want to progress as much as possible, and there's opportunity for that, which I really like. It's not a dead end. You can always go even within this company, but if not, now that I have experience doing it, actually, I think it would be a lot easier to actually land a second job and so forth.
Now that you have the experience, that won't be a problem in the future.
Yeah, that's what I at least I hope so. But honestly, I hope that I'll stay at this company because I
Yeah.
really like it. So
And it's amazing because I think there's a lot of people out there that actually don't have any experience, and I think your story really embodies having had no prior tech or sales experience, coming from Serbia to the U.S. and finding your way in by doing things other people don't want to do, investing in a course and developing and cold calling hiring managers and really being bold and putting yourself out there. So it's an amazing story, and I think will hopefully be an inspiration to others. So any parting words to those aspiring SDRs out there that are listening?
honestly, just don't be afraid to try. Just try it. If it doesn't work out, that's okay. That what Nothing bad can come out of it. As in the worst case, it's gonna be a lesson. So you're gonna know what to do next time. But for me, like I've never even worked in an office. Like I was doing something completely different, and a lot of the guys that are applying to the tech sales jobs, they have some kind of experience with like customer service or something. Just think about your previous experiences and how it can relate to sales, because that's what everybody keeps telling me also, that sales isn't everything else. So anything that you did, you can probably get something that you can use in your sales career later. So yeah, just try it and don't be afraid to fail. Like that's my advice.
Amazing. Well, Milos, thanks so much for telling your story. I'm going to link the free tech sales intro course in the description below that you referenced earlier. So, for those of you still listening right now, definitely worth checking out if you've spent the last 20 minutes with us and resonate with Milos' story. And
Oh yeah,
Milos,
I would suggest everybody apply. It's helped me so much, and that is money well spent.
right
Definitely
on. Well, everyone's going to have
suggest.
to go follow you and make sure you're actually an AE in a year and they keep you accountable.
I'll try that. Thank you, man.
All right. Thanks, Milos.